Hi guys, welcome back. We're going to go ahead and talk about simplifying expressions today. And right into our notes. So we're going to talk about some properties that can help us. The first property is called the commutative property, and it means you can add numbers in any order, and this only applies to adding and multiplying. We can't do this with like subtracting and dividing. So we know that 7 plus 8 is the same as 8 plus 7. Same thing with variables, that a plus b is the same as b plus a. We also have what's called the associative property. So you can regroup adding terms. So if I look at 3 plus 2 plus 5, that's going to be the same as 3 plus 2 plus 5, okay? Even if I add them in a different order. So this can just be helpful. Sometimes when we're adding things, we can shortcut it ourselves. And a lot of us do this without even thinking about it. So like if I have 25 plus 48 plus 75, instead of adding 25 plus 48 and then adding 75, I can use the commutative property and say, okay, well, I can add, and the associative property, 25 plus 75 plus 48, because I know that 25 plus 75 is 100, plus 48 is 148. Now, some of you might be able to do that in your head and be like, oh, I know that these two together is 100 plus 48 is 148, and then jump right to that step, which is great. Okay. Same thing applies to multiplication. We know that the commutative property means that 7 times 8 is the same as 8 times 7 in multiplication. And same thing with associative property. We can multiply numbers in different order and still get the same answer, okay, even if they're in parentheses. So again, if I'm looking at 4 times 9 times 25, well, 4 times 9 is 36 times 25. I don't know off the top of my head, but I do know that 4 times 25 is 100. Which is much easier to deal with times 9, which is 900, okay? So I'm able to get those numbers a lot faster than trying to longhand multiply 36 times 25, which would still get me 900, but it just speeds up the process a little bit, okay? Especially if you don't have a calculator like when you're on the SAT, okay? Distribution property. All that means is when we have things added or subtracted inside of a parenthesis, the number outside we can distribute in and multiply. So 4 plus 8 times 3 is the same as 3 times 4 plus 3 times 8. Okay? And the same thing happens with variables. It just happened on the next page. Okay? So what that means is, for some of us, is we can split a number up to kind of help us add, or help us multiply, I apologize. So like 15 times 103, I don't know off the top of my head. But if I bust up the number 103 into 100 plus 3, then I would have 15 times 100, which is 1500. I know that easily. 15 plus 3, or 15 times 3 might be a little more difficult, but it's a lot faster than 15 times 103. And now I can get 1500 plus 45, which is 1545. Okay? So we can use the distributive property to help us come up with numbers a little bit faster, especially if we don't have a calculator. So 6 times 19. So how could I write 19 as a number using adding and subtracting? So go ahead and answer that question in Edpuzzle real quick. So 2 different ways we could do this. We could do 18 plus 1, which is not super helpful. We could do 10 plus 9. That would be an option. Or we could do 20 minus 1. Okay, and both would get us the same answer. So 6 times 10 would be 60, plus 9 would be 54, which would then be 114. Again, 6 times 20 would be, just checking my work here, 120, minus 6, which would again be 114. So I'd get the same answer either way for distributing. But one way might be easier. So if you know your math facts for 20 and 1, a little bit easier than 10 and 9, you could use that. Okay? All right, now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of our lesson here. So simplifying each expression. Remember, we can only combine like terms. So only x's can go with other x's. Only y's can go with other y's. X squareds can only go with x squareds. X cubes can only go with x cubes. So here I have 6.8y squared and a y squared, and there's an invisible one here. They're both y squareds. They have the same exact variable and the same exact exponent, so we can combine those. So 6.8 minus 1 would be 5.8, and then I just keep the y squared going. So it's kind of like saying 6.8 yellow bananas minus 1 yellow banana would be 5.8 yellow bananas. Okay? Go ahead and let's try this one on your own and see what you get when you combine like terms. So the first thing is I want to do my distributive property. So 2 times x is 2x, 2 times 6 is 12, plus 3x. Now again, I can only combine oranges with oranges. Sorry guys, I don't know what this is. So just ignore it. So 2x, oh goodness. There we go. 2x plus 3x is 5x plus 12. Okay, and again, I can't solve anything further because there's no equal sign. It just wanted me to simplify this. Okay, I don't believe there's any other problems, and we will do that homework in class for classwork tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you later. Bye.